Hi everybody, my name is Sister Cherriese, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about activism and how it's played a part in my life, and hoping I can inspire yours. But first off, I would like to tell you a little bit about something that really inspires me, that gives me motivation all the time when I'm facing hard situations. And that story would be about Queen Morimi, queen of the Ile Ilf tribe in what is known today as modern day Nigeria. Now, back in the 12th century, there was another tribe known as the a part of the what is known today as the Fulanis. So, the Fulanis would go around, and historically, they would kidnap Africans from their homeland, and they would take them and sell them off into the slave trade. Um, really disappointing, right? So, what they would do is the Ile Ilf tribe thought that they were aliens. So, these people would come and they were wearing grass skirts and these big heads, and they would come through and they would steal all of the people, murdering families, murdering people of the tribes, and they would kidnap these people and take them and sell them off or use them, do whatever it is that they were going to do. So this was something that was caused a lot of distress to the kingdom. So Queen Morimi, she came up with a really creative plan. And so she tells her husband, the king, I'm going to allow myself to get caught. I want to see if I can learn what it is that they do. And I'm going to allow myself to get caught, hopefully to save our people. So Queen Morimi was beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous queen, very seductive. And the king, he allowed it. So the next time that they came, she allowed herself to be caught. She was brought to the king of the Fulanis, and he fell in love with her. She was gorgeous. So he married her and made her his queen as well. So she spent a lot of time getting to know them, getting to know what it is that they do. What it is that she learned is that they would wear these headgears with different horns and stuff. So from the animals that they slaughtered, they would clean them and wear these giant headgears over their heads. And then they would douse themselves, their bodies, in gasoline so that they had this horrible odor on them. And it was really strong. So it was like another deterrent to throw their enemy off when they were coming in. And then they would wear these grass skirts, these long black grass skirts. So when she found out everything that she could possibly learn, she ran away and she ran back to her people. Once safely with her people, she let the king know everything. He welcomed her back with open arms, and they started to prepare. So the next time that the Fulani people came, the Ile Ilf, they were ready. They had their torches, their fire, they were ready. So when they came to swarm the village, they threw fire on everybody and they burned them up. And single-handedly, Queen Morimi saved all of her people, which is why we now have modern day Nigeria today. What I love about this story is that she made bold moves. She made a bold move by approaching the king and telling him what she wanted to do. She made a bold move by allowing herself to get kidnapped, not knowing what could possibly happen, or even if it was going to end up good for her. She could have not even been on the continent of Africa. She also made another bold move by trying to escape, not worried about getting caught or what might happen to her. And she did it anyway because she knew it was the right thing to do. And really, that's what leads me into my story about doing the right thing no matter what. So, my journey in activism starts from years ago. And it's being an activist in the workplace, speaking up when you see injustice, speaking up when you see something that's not right. Far too often we say, oh, we don't want to lose our job, we don't want to do this, but you speak up. You take a bold move. You don't have to be disrespectful. You don't have to be rude, but you take a bold move and you use that wisdom and that knowledge and that intellect to think, how can this play out differently in the best of ways for everyone? Always looking for the best outcome. Now, in the last 3 years, I've made a lot of bold moves that a lot of people, maybe at first they didn't agree with. This is in my school district, speaking up against racism, speaking up against oppression, speaking up against bullying, wanting to make sure that not just my children, but all children have a safe place to be able to learn and thrive. And going toe to toe and having meetings with superintendents, with principals, with the mayor. Nothing is too big if your intention is good and you're trying to make the change. I want every young person to understand that your voice matters. You are smart and you are brave, like Queen Morimi. I absolutely love that story. We have so many stories of how our people made it, how they broke through, how they made a difference, all in the right of wanting to save the oppressed. All all in speaking up for the voiceless, protecting those who can't protect themselves. And that is what it is all about. Throughout this last year, we have had so much activism going on. Our community has been strong and fierce and forgiving and merciful. And that's what we have to remember. One of the bravest activists that I love in our city, I've had the opportunity of working with her a few times. And the thing that I love about this woman is that no matter what people do, people can talk bad about her, people can push her away, tarnish her name, right? Don't want to work with her, whatever the case may be. When they need her, when the shoe is on the other foot and they're being harmed by something that has happened systemically, through structural racism or direct individual racism, she's right there. She's forgiving and she's merciful and she's right there. And the activism matters. So I just want to say that not only is making bold moves matter, but forgiveness matters. Forgiveness is such an important tool that we utilize with our wisdom and our intellect. Be quick to forgive and slow to condemn, because we never know what another person is going through. Another short story that I would like to tell you about. It happened in Hilton, New York. First protest that Hilton has ever seen in its life. I'm sure it won't be the last. And we shut down the corner of Main Street, going from West to East Avenue to South Avenue, right in the center, the heart of Hilton. And people were very upset. There were guns that were drawn. There was a young girl that was hit. Very disappointing, but at the same time, very liberating. We had allies who were white allies who had never seen racism in Hilton before. They've lived there their whole life and they've never seen it. And they stood up and they blocked the crosswalks and they protected the people of color. and they embrace them and they love them. And it was the most beautiful thing I have ever seen in my life. The young girl that was hit, charges were never filed. This is a story that goes on that is really, it's disappointing. The young girl that was hit, she stood on corners by herself. She protested. She argued the people who were threatening her life and her family's life. And she stood up for injustice. She stood up for what is right. And many people forget about her, but I don't forget about her. She is strong-willed and brave. And we didn't give up. I didn't give up. I took it to the sheriffs, to the chief of the sheriff's department. I spoke with the commander. I spoke with the mayor's office, the town supervisor. I had a meeting with the whole town of Hilton. They didn't want to speak out against racism. They would not send a message. They didn't want to press charges. They protected the young man who sat there and revved his engine and hit her anyway. But I want to tell you something that's beautiful that comes out of this story with so much disappointment is now the superintendent of Hilton acknowledges racism. He acknowledges it. He's vowed to make a difference and to protect his students and his families. And he's publicly apologized about what he didn't know in his background and how he could not see it. Because I was labeled as a huge troublemaker. But please don't forget, being a troublemaker can be good and it can lead to awesome change. And it led to awesome change, and I pray that it continues to change. So not only did for 2020 Hilton have its first Black History Month ever, it will continue to have its Black History Month. It will continue to be inclusive, and it will continue to push out racism from every corner. And I'm just glad that I could have been a part of that. And I really am grateful for Queen Morimi. As I do my DNA history and I research the land and the documents of my family comes from that land, the land of Queen Morimi. And I may not be here if it was not for her saving our people. And I am so grateful that she made a bold move, and with her cunningness and her charm and her wisdom and her intellect, that I am able to be here today, that my father and grandparents were able to be here and to make a difference. And I'm blessed to share this story with you. So I encourage everyone, anyone watching, please be the change. Please make the difference. Please stand up for what's right. And use your intellect and your mind and your knowledge and those beautiful smarts and gifts that you have been given by the Creator. Use this to be able to move throughout the universe, throughout the world, and make a change and be the change that you want to see. Thank you so much, and happy Kwanzaa, everyone.